Hello, and welcome to another day of TA the Degen Way. Just want to do a quick update on the current Bitcoin price and our next trading setup I'm looking at on CFX, just posted on the TradingView idea page. But before we look at this one, I want to pop onto the Bitcoin chart. Here we're looking at the hourly. And I do think there is a little bit more room for some upside. You can see price came up. We've got a nice correction that we were expecting to happen either here or up here. And we've taken the liquidity above the high. Now the question is how far is price going to come down before the momentum gets down to the downside? And as the momentum begins to roll back to the upside, how far will it push the price? So I'm looking at the hourly, which is a little bit smaller than the daily. Why do we think there's a little bit more to squeeze out of this? We'll real briefly and real quickly pop out to the high time frames. I mean the weekly, you can see we've come down, we've printed the green dot. We would expect that we could clip off here, we could come down and put in a bigger downtrend. And we'll see if that's what we get, but I do think we got at least one more, which would probably show up on this chart like a big right shoulder, which we're possibly creating right now. Maybe we put in the right shoulder and just do a pullback and rip again. That'd be awfully nice. But if we pop down to the daily, why one more potential rip? You can see this daily trending to the upside. We would expect the top to be somewhere right in here in about the middle of October, the end of the first week, which would give us room for possibly one more. So far we've had a nice A, B, C correction wave. So the question is do we have room for a 4 and a 5? Well, 1, 2, 3. Well, obviously we're going to get a 4. But is the 4 going to hold this support level that we are basically touching right now and push up again? Or is it going to break structure, come up and retest it, and come on down, maybe to the bottom of the range, or then continue on, or just continue to break on down? But this daily looks like it's got room for just a little bit more. We're going to follow the curvature of this momentum oscillation here, just following it from the high, and we expect to have a top out in here somewhere, and just following the price action a little bit. You can see we formed not a perfect ascending channel, but a little bit of one. Well, actually it is pretty darn good. So let's extend this out. And, that would provide room for maybe price pushes up again and kind of cools off, comes down to the trend line and pushes up again, and filling in that weekly. That would give this daily time to come down, kind of make its first dip. Maybe come in and put in a lower wave but a higher high on the price and get some daily divergence while this kind of rolls over to the downside. And hopefully, if price makes it up here, it only turns into a pullback for high levels. We've already tapped our last support resistance flip. We've wicked down, so we would expect to get some kind of a retracement here, which today we did get our rejection. I kind of figured it would come just a smidge sooner, but it came nonetheless. And now, we are back at our last resistance, hopefully flipped into support. And price come up and then come back down and hold this, this area. Maybe only come back down to here. Maybe price pushes up here to this 29,250, 500 area. Maybe we see something like this, and price come back down and jockey around. push back up one more time to our next support resistance level, kind of right in here at this 30K range, and then probably expect some type of a larger pullback that hopefully ends in this area and doesn't come back down here and then come up and retest this as resistance and head on back down to the bottom. If it does, well, then you can see what kind of a pattern it has just created on the chart. It would not be good. You know, will price continue to push up? I mean, that's the question. I mean, I think it will. I think if we draw a trend line here off of these trigger waves, I mean, we would be expecting a top sometime in this area. If we take some trend time measurements, where we go from swing high, measure that trend on down, and where did price break trend? Well, it broke trend pretty much right here with the pump that we just got yesterday. And let's grab our time cycle tool. So 50% of the way, you know, would be kind of about a nice top here. And then it just depends on what price does. Does price come down and, you know, trend to about 3/4 of this time cycle and hold this yellow line and then push back up for another face melting, ripping high, and then be able to pull back and test this? Or does it just come back down to the bottom of the range? If we pull a volume profile on this range, you can see price has, let's delete our lines. We'll keep our ascending channel because it will be good for targets. What we would really like to see is, being that price hit the top of this ascending channel, that it hits the bottom of it again. But at the same time, you know, this here, if we pull back here in this fashion, we would have a definite official break of structure. Notice how this level here too is right where these two trends cross. That's awfully convenient. But for now, I mean, this uptrend is still intact. This kind of secondary, you know, which would give us a high kind of at our value area high. So we pulled up to our point of control, we rejected and wicked back down below it, probably come back up and retest it, and hopefully come down and hold this 27,500. If we could retest this and then push back up to the top of our channel and get to our value area high, which is coming out at about 29,250, which is kind of where I'm getting this 29,250 to 29,500 for a target area, but with an entry price of our current price without breaking this white uptrend. If we break this white uptrend, well, then we're looking at coming down to the bottom of this ascending channel or descending channel, and we would be looking at price targets more along 26, 850 to 27K. We'll just put that on there right now. Also a likely scenario. We'll need some cooperation. We'll jump into that CFX chart in just a second here, which is really the next high potential swing trade that I'm looking at. It's more of a scalp trade. So here we're going to do a 26,850 to 27K. I don't think that's right. I thought it was 27. Oh, we're too low here. We're up here. There we go. Here we had support resistance, flipped it back into support. Here it's the same support. We'd be retesting that. And this here was a resistance level that we would like to hold and continue up to 29,250 to 29,500. Or if we break this white trend line, pick back up with some support, fake people out with a potential head and shoulders, and push on up to 29,250, 29,500. And then look for some type of a cool off or a pullback. And before our chart gets too cluttered, I'm going to delete this volume profile. Pause for our commercial break and our background music. And if we look at this bottom price range, let's grab our rectangle tool. We'll take from here to these lows here. Why only this portion? Because this wicked out into the range above. Said no and came back down. We got multiple, we got a hit here, we got a hit here at this price level, hit at this one, hit, daily close here. So this seems to be our average true range here. Let's duplicate that to the upside. So this 29,250, 500 will be 3/4 of the range above, with a high target at 29,780. You could say 29,750. So that's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. And if we jump down to the smaller time frames, why should we expect this white trend line to hold? Well, we would want to come down to some smaller time frames. Let's go to the 4-hour. 4-hour hasn't came down very far yet and looking very toppy, but I don't see any bullish divergence here, so we could take another rip here and we could put in a lower low on the 4-hour, something like this. Let's say that this here, building to the upside with a top somewhere out in this area, or maybe even aligning with where these two trend lines meet, more out here, a little better curvature to it. And let's say that we put in a lower low on the oscillator, but price puts in a higher high. And you can follow the curvature of this price action. Whenever we fall out of this, the party's over, and then you expect a longer and bigger cool off. So you can follow on a log scale, which is giving you a visual representation of the change in percentage of value. When that rate reaches its maximum or diminishes to its least. So on the downside, you're looking for a nice curvature flattening out to the downside. When you're moving to the upside, you're looking for nice curvature getting to its parabolic state. When time and price are square, the trend will change. Why does that work? Well, that's because with the trend, is exhausted at that point. When it falls out of that parabola to the upside, well, that tells you that uptrend was exhausted. Look at it right here. When time and price were square, the trend changed. You got a pullback. So now we're looking at this bigger, chunk of price action there. But that's enough for Bitcoin. Well, let's jump down just a smidge more. We need an argument off the hourly or the 24, 12 minute, maybe use the 15 or the 30 minute to show that momentum is down low as to why this we would expect this white trend line to hold. Price pull back to our key level. There is the potential to get some bullish divergence here, or bearish divergence on the 4-hour, which would require a higher high on the price and a lower low on the momentum oscillator. So we would expect the hourly then to be getting bullishly down to the bottom. Let's delete a little bit of the junk. A lot of junk, actually. Let's get rid of these ranges. This price level, we're going to move this way over here just to get it out of the way. And what we're looking for is, will this white trend line hold and make it up to this target area and then pull back to, hold the line at 27,500. Really, we could really just change this into a range of 27.5 to 26.5, kind of a large range, but just is what it is. I'm going to get rid of that too. We're going to get rid of our downtrend because, well, let's look at something else quick. We know our downtrend has broken and has been sufficiently retested, and then we got the pump. Yeah, so this downtrend is done. Now you are in a sideways trend, macro-wise confirmed, and in a local uptrend. And this uptrend, until we break this structure at 27.5, is still intact. And even if we get to the top of this ascending channel, maybe this ascending channel goes on for a couple weeks. I'm expecting this uptrend, this swing in the market, not to end or get a serious cool off until the middle or the end of the first week of October. So I mean, that gives us room for another pump, another pullback, another pump, mini pullback, maybe another pump even. Maybe we break the 32K sell wall and get super bullish. What we're looking at is we're looking at this curvature and the price action. So we would expect this not to get a serious, cool off until we get to about this time period right here, and possibly at the top of this ascending channel. It doesn't have to get all the way up here, and that'd be convenient. That'd be the up in the top of that second range that we put up there. It comes out right at about 30K. Let's get rid of this and let's look at our 1 hour oscillator. Let's delete the stuff from the higher time frames. So our 4 hour, we're kind of thinking out in this time period. So is there anything that would tell us, as we've now pulled back to our structure here, we're retesting this past resistance, hoping to flip it into support and hold this trend line rather than break below it and come up, hit it, pull back, push up. We could do that also. So we're looking at the hourly oscillation of momentum. Here it came up. We would expect it to be putting in a bottom sometime in this range, and you can see it building out to the downside. Here's the kind of the apex of the curvature to the upside. Now you follow these trigger waves to the downside. You would expect your top to be out in this area, which is kind of, right up in our target area where does the top of the ascending channel meet our price target? At about the end of the week to the middle of the week, This is October 8th to the 12th or so, and then may range sideways. And about the middle of the month, get your bigger cool off. Who knows where it goes. That's enough for Bitcoin. Let's jump into Conflux, because if that's going to happen, this is just posted on CryptoFile 622 TradingView Ideas. You can always jump on there. If we go to the profile here, we'll leave this behind. Go to Community, Trade Ideas, or else you can just go to the search and search. Type her in there, CryptoFile PHILE 622. Like, subscribe, and share these videos if you want me to keep making this content. If you like the way that I do this TA and just kind of follow the market using momentum and price structure and price action and time cycles, join us, support us, join us on Discord. There's a link in the description. It's completely free. Doing a live stream in that Discord group, which you have to be a member of, but it's free. You just join the Discord and show up at 8 p.m. Central. There is a live discussion group in there where we share our screen, microphones, and anybody in the Discord that's present, welcome to jump on, share your ideas. If you have questions about how some of the TA's done, or just how we follow the market like this, and that's the place to do it. But here's CFX, just posted this on Twitter and the TradingView Idea page, and this is what I'm looking for. Price hit our key level. We've got a clear ascending channel here also. Momentum on this is an hourly chart on Binance because it has the most volume. I'm actually trading on BingX. If you come into that Discord and you want to support us, it's another way you can sign up for BingX using our affiliate link Full disclosure, there is a kickback from any trading fees that come from that. I've been using BingX for a short time, but I like it because you can also trade stocks and Forex using crypto, which I don't do very often, but when the crypto market gets cold, which it's not right now, I like to look at that stuff. So what am I looking at here? Price pulled back. Well, I don't have the market tool. And now I'm looking for it to push back up, which it's done already, and do an ABC correction to the downside. Take the liquidity below these lows, get everybody super bearish again. The hourly, you can follow the curvature of this momentum to the upside. You really wouldn't expect a bottom until about this kind of time period. You can follow this curvature here. That gives us room for nice bullish divergence, where you get a lower low on the price, higher low on the oscillator. Doesn't always show up, but you know, if price comes and breaks this low at about 1275, 1280, everybody's going to be thinking head and shoulders for a good reason, but being there's still a little bit of juice in the higher time frames, you know, we hit the bottom of this ascending channel with bullish divergence on like the 12 minute, 24 minute, or definitely the hourly. It's a reasonable expectation to push to the top of this channel. And if you want to take that trade with us, hop in that Discord. We'll be chatting about it constantly. There's a couple others I want to look at that I did in the last couple videos on big bear market movers. You know, these are ones that, for whatever reason, right, wrong, or indifferent, people have chosen to support with their cash. CFX bounced off the bottom 2,000%. It's a lot, you know, it's just a lot. So I'm looking to take some leverage trades on some of these moves if they're available. You're welcome to join us. And other ones that I'll probably do a separate video highlighting this CFX. I'll also be looking for some on I don't know if there's anything on Zen. I don't plan on really leverage trading that, just holding it more on the spot side. But there's FET, Injective, and Conflux have all done big giant moves. OP has also, so we can include that in there. But maybe we'll do a completely separate video just looking at those three, because I expect stuff to cool off for, you know, a day or two, or at least get down here, and I'll try to get those trades up in the same fashion as this CFX is. Maybe do just another YouTube video just looking at CFX, Fetch, Injective, and what's the other one? OP. So we got CFX, Fetch, Injective, that's 3, and OP, which would be 4. 4 leverage trades on tokens that are moving with big spreads is more than enough. I mean, you don't even have to take all 4, but what you could do is if we get down to the bottom of this ascending channel, this is the argument. Will the market continue? Who knows? I mean, you know it. Well, then you hit me up and let me know. And I just won't believe you anyways, because that's unknowable. But what is knowable is that if momentum looks bullish down here on the medium time frames, and the high time frames got some room for some juice still, like the weekly, the daily, the 4-hour, you know, show some room for some juice. And you got bullish momentum on the smaller time frames, like the hourly and down, and you're hitting an ascending, you know, channel. Everybody thinks the market's going to crash and collapse. You got a, you know, an exchange created strategy called the head and shoulders that, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. It's more than reasonable to plan on them working out, but there's situations where they don't. This would be one of them. You got an ascending channel, momentum gets bullish, a little bit of room on the high time frames, signaling possibly one more move. Follow the curvature of this price action, you know, this could push up again and hit the top of that channel. But why take it? Because your stop loss and validation area is very, very small. You know, this is high probability, low risk, high reward. So let's pull into the chart. Let's say that we come down here. Am I willing to take a long trade from here, even though price might just push on up? I'm just not. Look at the curvature on this price action. When time and price are square, the trend will change. So you should expect this current local downtrend to change. You can follow that nice curvature. It's at the apex of it. Expect it to come back up and probably, hit the bottom of this range. These lows, this past support, flip it into resistance, which it already did. We're pretty much, maybe we do A, B, C, and get up here and get everybody bullish and reject again, and come on down to the bottom of this channel. If we can make it to the bottom of this channel, you got a clear invalidation, stop loss. If you took it from here and you went to your lows here, it's still only 3%. And maybe that plays out. Maybe we just push on up. We push up, break this high, come back and retest it, and push on up to the target. But what would be a much lower risk, much higher probability would be to push up, get everybody bullish. Maybe we push all the way up to here, to 1350. Man, would people get bullish. And then, when everybody's wrecked, reverse. Do A, B, C. Come on down here, take the liquidity below these lows, hit the bottom of this ascending channel with some bullish divergence on the smaller and medium time frames, like the hourly on down. And, then you got a 13% target at the top of this range. You could cut the top of this ascending channel, cut the ascending channel into 50%. If you take a leverage trade here, when you get a quarter of the way up, if you take this, your stop loss is very small. If price makes it down here, let's say to the 618, and let's put a stop loss down about 2-3%. Even if you went all the way down to the lows, which I think is a little excessive. If it breaks the channel, it breaks the channel. But get a little ways below that channel. Maybe come down 2-3% stop loss, like a 12.45. And, when price comes up a quarter of the way into the channel, which would be right about here, and breaks through it, hits the middle of the channel, maybe close half that trade or close 25% and put your stop loss to entry. Let it pull back. If it bounces bullishly here at a quarter of the channel, add it back in and keep your stop loss to entry and let it ride. Let price do something like this. If we split this channel up into quarters, this is the kind of stuff that you learn in Discord too. How does the market move? If we're expecting this to move, it moves in nice balanced increments. That's why your 0.5 retraces, 1.5 expansions work. Markets move, in a decent and orderly fashion. It's biblical. All things are decent and orderly. They appear to be, haphazard, but they're decent and orderly. So let's say we bust up halfway up, we pull back to the quarter, we bust up to the 3/4, you pull back to the 50% without breaking structure, You bounce on up to the high. This time you come back down and maybe you don't break structure, but you put in a lower high. And then now you pull back to the 50% mark, but at that point you've broken structure. Price come up and retest it. Come on down, get some curvature, So that's what I'm looking at on Conflux. We'll do fetch, OP, and injective, along with a recap on this in a separate video, possibly later or tomorrow. But until then, like, share, subscribe. Join us on TradingView, Twitter, or even better yet, join us on Discord. And until then, we'll trade well.